Hi, I'm Tracy Fryer from Design Studio Perth, and these are the 8 branding mistakes that are preventing your business from growing. Your brand should distinguish your business. It should tell your potential buyers what makes your company special without ever needing words. If your business isn't standing out, struggling to attract the right clients, or constantly battling inconsistent messaging, something is off. Today we will give you the knowledge to help you diagnose if your brand is holding you back. These aren't just minor issues, they're warning signs of deeper challenges that will keep limiting your business growth until they're addressed. At Design Studio Perth, we've helped hundreds of businesses transform their brands, sharpen their positioning, and create strategies that drive real results. We've helped them look better, communicate more effectively, and attract the right customers. At the core of a strong brand are 4 key areas: discover, define, design, and maintain. When these elements aren't aligned, businesses struggle with inconsistent messaging, low engagement, and stagnant growth. This isn't about theory or trends. It's about proven, practical strategies that will help you take control of your brand, build credibility, and drive the results your business deserves. Now, you might be asking yourself, why does this webinar matter? Here's the thing. You're great at what you do. You've built a business that delivers real value. But if your brand isn't working as hard as what you are, you're making growth way harder than what it needs to be. Branding isn't just about looking polished. It's about attracting the right customer, building trust, and making sure people actually remember you in a crowded market. The problem? Most business owners have no idea where to start. They tweak their logo, update their website, and post on social media, but without a clear strategy. It all feels random and doesn't really move the needle. That's where this webinar comes in. We're cutting through the noise, no fluff, no marketing jargon, just straight up clarity on what's holding your brand back. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly what's working, what's not, and what to focus on next. So your brand doesn't just exist, it actually works for you. Here's the truth about branding. In today's market, your brand isn't just a nice to have. It's the difference between being remembered and being ignored. Consumer trust is everything, with 86% of people saying authenticity influences their buying decision. If your brand feels generic or inconsistent, you've lost trust before the conversation has even begun. Financially, brands seen as highly innovative grow 10% faster than those that don't stand out, proving that playing it safe can actually be holding you back. When it comes to market value, a weak brand can shrink revenue by up to 20%, turning branding from a marketing concern into a serious business risk. Despite this, many businesses still treat branding as an afterthought, focusing on their product or service while ignoring the very thing that drives trust, loyalty, and long-term growth. That's why they stall while competitors with stronger brands pull ahead. Branding isn't just about looking good. It's about making a real connection, building credibility, and ensuring you stand out for the right reasons. Ignore it, and you run the risk of becoming irrelevant. At Design Studio Perth, we get it. A strong brand is more than just a logo. It's a powerful tool that fuels growth, and we're here to help you turn your brand into an asset that works just as hard as what you do. One of the key branding mistakes we see is subjective brand creation. Let's get started with one of the biggest branding mistakes business owners make: branding based on personal taste instead of strategy. Maybe you picked your colors because you liked them. Maybe you chose your logo from a few quick options and went with the one that felt right. Maybe your messaging was created on the fly, whatever sounded good at the time. But here's the problem: your brand isn't about you, it's about your audience. When branding decisions are made based on instinct rather than strategy, the brand lacks focus and direction. You might end up with a look and feel that resonates with you, but it doesn't actually attract the right customers or communicate the right message. It's just not working. The best brands aren't random. They're built with intention, shaped by a deep understanding of the market, the competition, and most importantly, the customer. Ask yourself, was my brand built with strategy, or was it built with personal preference? Because if it's the second, there's a good chance it's holding you back. People don't get your brand. This is something I see all of the time. Business owners assuming that their audience just simply gets it. You think your work speaks for itself, you know your service is great, your products are excellent, and your customers should naturally understand why you're the best decision. But here's the reality. People are busy, distracted, and bombarded with choices on a daily basis. They don't have time to sit down and figure out what makes you different. If your brand doesn't immediately communicate why you're valuable and why you're the best option, people will move on, and they won't even realize that they've missed something truly great. The biggest companies in the world reinforce their messaging over and over again. They know that clarity wins, not because their products aren't good enough. If you're leaving your brand messaging up to chance, you're leaving potential customers behind. Your brand is all over the place. Think about all the different ways people interact with your brand. Your website, social media, emails, brochures, ads, even your business cards. Now ask yourself, does everything feel consistent? Or does your brand look and sound different across the various marketing platforms? Your website may tell one story, but your social media says something else. Your brochures, they might look like they belong to a completely different company. And your brand voice may change depending on who writes it. When a brand lacks consistency, it creates doubt. Customers start questioning whether your business is reliable. If they're not sure what to expect from you, they're less likely to trust you. The strongest brands feel unmistakable. No matter where someone encounters them, they look and feel the same. If your brand isn't consistent, it's not building trust, it's breaking it. Your brand looks unremarkable. One of the most dangerous branding mistakes is blending in. Your brand should be instantly recognizable. It should have a look and feel and a voice that is impossible to mistake for someone else. But many businesses rely on generic logos, templated design, and stock photography. And as a result, their brand becomes forgettable. Here's an easy test. If you removed your logo from your website and marketing materials, would people still know it's you? Or could they mistake you for one of your competitors? When your brand looks and sounds like everyone else, people don't remember you. And in a crowded market, if they don't remember you, they don't choose you. The strongest brands own their space. They're bold, distinctive, and impossible to ignore. If your brand isn't doing that, it's time to rethink it. Incomplete brand messaging and presentation. Some brands communicate part of their story, but not enough to matter. Maybe your website explains what you do, but not why it matters. Maybe your marketing lists out your services, but doesn't highlight the outcomes they create. Maybe your visuals look polished, but they don't tell a compelling brand story. Here's what most businesses get wrong. Customers don't buy products or services. They buy solutions to their problems. If your brand messaging doesn't make that very clear, you're leaving money on the table. A strong brand doesn't just exist. It guides the customer's journey from interest to trust to action. Every element of your brand, your website, your visuals, your messaging should work together to lead customers towards a decision. If your brand isn't making the right impact, it's time to refine the message. Here's something you might be able to relate to. Your marketing feels scattered. Maybe you post regularly for a while, then go silent for months. We've all been there. Maybe you invest in ads here and there, but with no real plan. Maybe you engage with your audience sometimes, but only when you're remembered to. Here's the problem. Trust is built through repetition. If people don't see your brand consistently, they forget about it. Big brands understand this. They don't just show up when they feel like it. They build a presence steadily, strategically, and consistently. If your marketing is stop-start, your results will be the same. If you're treating marketing like an afterthought, it will never generate the results that you want. The brands that win don't just show up occasionally, they stay top of mind all of the time. You may be finding that everything looks different when it comes to your brand. Strong brands are instantly recognizable. The visuals, the colors, the typography, the layout, everything about it feels consistent and cohesive. But when a brand is inconsistent, that recognition disappears. Maybe your website has one color scheme, your social media another, and your printed materials, well, they look like they belong to a completely different company. Maybe your logo looks different depending on where and how it's used. These things might seem small, but they matter. When everything looks different, it weakens trust and credibility. Customers start to question whether your business is as professional as what it claims to be. Think about the biggest brands in the world. No matter where you see them, billboard, a website, a social media post, they look and feel the same. That's not by accident. A strong, unified brand identity builds trust. If your branding feels scattered, it's time to fix it. Is your brand slowly decaying? The market moves fast, and if your brand isn't evolving, it's slowly becoming irrelevant. Maybe your business has grown and changed, but your branding hasn't. Maybe your competitors are adapting while your brand stays the same. Maybe your logos, your colors, and messaging were perfect 5 years ago, but now they look tired. Here's the thing, brands aren't set and forget. Even the biggest companies in the world refresh their identity over time to stay relevant. A stagnant brand signals a stagnant business. And when customers start seeing your brand as outdated, they start looking for other options. A great brand doesn't just last, it adapts. If you're not actively maintaining and evolving your brand, you risk losing relevance, customers, and market position. A brand left unchecked is a brand left behind. Everything we've covered today is a signal, a sign that your brand isn't working as effectively as what it should be. When brands lack direction, consistency, and clarity, they don't just look weak, they lose business. The reality is simple. Strong brands create strong businesses. A brand built on strategy and not personal preference attracts the right customers. A brand with clear, consistent messaging builds trust and authority. A brand with a unique, unmistakable identity stands out in a crowded market. A brand that evolves with the business stays relevant and competitive. Branding isn't just about aesthetics. It's about creating recognition, credibility, and growth. A brand that doesn't communicate effectively will always struggle to reach its full potential. Understanding these symptoms is the first step. The next step is making the right changes.